In the town of Odiu, the air always smelled like dust and sweat. The wind carried the scent of roasted corn, soaked gutters, and burning firewood. Life was hard here. People didn't smile much. Nobody had time to dream. But one girl still did. Her name was Amarachi. She was 23, tall and slim, with skin the color of ripe mango bark and eyes that always looked tired, like she hadn't slept well in years. Amarachi lived in the part of town where people bathed with bowls and used nylon bags as kites when there was no money for toys. Everyone knew her, not because she was popular or loud, but because she was always seen cleaning. Every morning, before the sky turned bright, Amarachi was already sweeping the main road near the hill. She wore a faded blue uniform, her broom short from overuse, and her sandals patched in 3 places. If the sun saw her every day, it would say, "This girl again?" She worked for the town's cleaning agency, one of those jobs people did when life gave them no other choice. She didn't like it, but she needed it. Amarachi's house sat at the end of a long, cracked path, just beside the shallow stream that often overflowed during the rainy season. It was one room, built with old cement blocks and rusted zinc roofing that made noise like drumming when it rained. Inside, there was a wooden bed she shared with her mother, a mat for her younger brother Chica, and a small kerosene stove they used to cook whatever they could afford. This morning started like every other. Cold water, cold bath, a silent prayer. "Amara," her mother called from the mat. Her voice was soft, but shaky from pain. Amarachi turned. "Ma, don't forget to check if Madam F has firewood today," her mother said. "Tell her I can pay small. "I will," Amarachi replied, tying her scarf tightly over her hair. "Just rest today. Don't move around too much." Her mother coughed again. "If I rest too much, hunger will wake me up." Amarachi looked at her but said nothing. What could she say? They were surviving on crumbs. Talking didn't change anything. Outside, the streets were still quiet. Chickens walked freely. One child cried in the distance. Amarachi joined the other cleaners at the agency's outpost. Some of them smiled weakly. Some didn't speak at all. Everyone was tired. Everyone was poor. And everyone had learned not to expect anything from life. The supervisor, Mr. Onu, handed out their brooms and dustpans. "You, Amarachi," he said, pointing, "go clean the upper road today, the one near the governor's side." She nodded. "Okay, sir." That road was long and steep. Rich people passed there in their tinted cars. No one would greet you. Some would even wind down their windows just to shout, "Clean well," as if she couldn't see the dirt herself. As Amarachi climbed the hill with her broom in hand, her legs already ached. Her slippers made soft slapping sounds as she walked. Halfway up, she paused to stretch her back. Then she remembered something. She opened the side of her bag and pulled out a small, folded paper. It was a nursing school form, old, wrinkled, and yellowing at the edges. She stared at it like someone stares at a locked door. Her fingers touched the space where application fee was written. 20,000 naira. She only had 200. A deep sigh left her mouth. She folded the paper and placed it back inside. A voice from behind made her jump. "You still carrying that form?" It was Ngozi, another cleaner and Amarachi's only friend at the job. "I'm just looking at it," Amarachi said. "Looking will not pay it." Ngozi laughed, but not in a wicked way. "I told you, forget that dream. You see us here? This is our work until we're old." "Maybe for you," Amarachi replied quietly. "Not for me." Ngozi smirked and walked ahead. "We'll see. Don't let the dream kill you before hunger does." Amarachi said nothing. She picked up her broom and continued sweeping. Leaves, nylon, broken bottle, more nylon. Time moved slowly. The sun rose higher. The road grew hotter. By afternoon, she sat on a pavement to rest her legs. She brought out the small snack she had bought earlier, just one egg roll and a sachet of pure water. That was her lunch. As she chewed, something caught her eye. A woman, old, bent, with a torn wrapper and wild gray hair, was lying near the gutter across the road. Her arms trembled as she tried to stand, but fell back again. People walked past her. Some stared, some hissed, others whispered, "Maybe she's mad," and kept walking. Amarachi stood up slowly. She looked at the half-eaten egg roll in her hand, then back at the woman. "Should I?" she whispered to herself. "What if she's dangerous? What if it's nothing?" But something in her heart pushed her forward. She crossed the road and knelt beside the woman. Her skin was dry and cracked. Her lips were pale. There were blisters on her feet. "Mama!" Amarachi called softly. The woman didn't answer. Her eyes were half closed. "Mama, can you hear me?" Still nothing. Amarachi looked around. "Somebody help me!" she shouted. "This woman is not okay." People turned to look but didn't move. "Call the health center," she begged. A man in a car slowed down. "She's not my mother," he said and drove off. Amarachi felt her chest tighten. She checked her waist pouch. 200 naira. That was all she had. It was for her transport home and maybe small food in the evening. She looked at the woman again. Then, without thinking too long, she ran to a hawker selling herbs and water nearby. "Give me a bottle of water. And those bitter roots for pain," she said. 200. She handed him everything. When she returned, the woman was still lying there. Amarachi opened the water and gently poured some into her mouth. The woman coughed a little, then swallowed. Amarachi dipped the herb into the remaining water and wiped her lips. "Try sit up, Mama," she said, supporting her gently. The woman opened her eyes, just a little. "Thank you." Her voice came out like a whisper in the wind. "You'll be okay," Amarachi said. "I'll take you to the health center. Leave me here." "I can't." She stood up and looked at the long road ahead. The health center was at the bottom of the other side of the hill. No bike, no help, nothing. She bent down, pulled the woman's arm around her neck, and slowly lifted her. Her legs shook under the weight, but she held on. Step by step, she began walking. Some people stared, some laughed, some just kept walking. Her arms ached, her back screamed, but she kept moving. The woman didn't say much, just soft breathing. At one point, she whispered again, "You don't know who I am." Amarachi smiled. "It doesn't matter, Mama. You're someone's mother. That's enough." By the time she reached the health center, her legs felt like wood. Sweat poured from her body. Her scarf was soaked, but she didn't stop. The nurse at the gate frowned. "Who is this?" "She collapsed by the road," Amarachi said breathlessly. "Please help her." "Do you know her name?" "No." "Relative?" "No." "Who will pay?" Amarachi looked at the nurse, then at the old woman. "Just treat her. I'll come back." The nurse hissed but allowed her in. As they laid the woman on the clinic bed, Amarachi sat beside her and wiped her forehead one more time. The old woman touched Amarachi's hand and whispered, "What's your name?" "Amarachi. You are light in a dark place." Amarachi's eyes stung with tears. "Just rest, Mama. Please, I have to go now." She stood up and walked out slowly. Her stomach growled. Her legs wobbled. She didn't even know how she would get home, but somehow her heart felt full. The road back home felt longer than usual. Amarachi dragged her tired legs through the dusty street, her arms hanging like they didn't belong to her anymore. The weight of the old woman still sat on her shoulders, even though she had dropped her at the health center. Her back was sore, her neck burned from the sun, but her mind stayed on the woman's face. Who was she? She didn't look like someone from the street. Her wrapper was torn, yes, but her hands were soft. Too soft for a woman who begged for food every day. Her ears had holes like someone who used to wear gold earrings. Even her voice, it was old, but it had something strong in it, like someone who wasn't used to being ignored. Amarachi kept thinking about it as she walked down the valley road to her house. No money for transport, no water left. The sun was high, and her head was starting to spin. By the time she got home, her mother was outside, bending over the firewood stove. Smoke rose from the small pot in front of her. Chica, Amarachi's 10-year-old brother, sat beside her, fanning the flames with a piece of cardboard. Her mother turned sharply when she saw her. Where have you been since morning? Amarachi dropped her bag and collapsed on a stool. It's a long story, Ma. Her mother stood up, wiping sweat from her forehead. Did you get the firewood from Madame F? Amarachi shook her head. I didn't go. The woman's face changed immediately. En? You didn't go? Then how do you want me to cook with the little rice I managed to get? I'm sorry, Amarachi said softly. Something happened. I saw an old woman on the road. She collapsed. Nobody helped. So, I carried her to the clinic. Her mother stared at her like she was speaking another language. You did what? I carried her. She couldn't move. She was just lying there. You left your work and used your own strength to carry a woman you don't even know? Amarachi, are you okay? Amarachi opened her mouth to explain, but her mother didn't wait. She threw down the wooden spoon she was holding and stepped closer. Do you think this is the time for you to be playing Mother Teresa on the street? Did you eat today? Do you have money left? Amarachi looked down. No, she said. No. Her mother's voice rose. So you're telling me you gave out everything we have just to play hero to a stranger? She needed help, Ma. I couldn't just leave her there. Her mother turned her face away and clapped her hands slowly. God, is this the child I gave birth to? Are you trying to kill yourself because you want to be good? This is how people die, Amarachi. You think life will reward you for this? I don't expect anything, Amarachi replied, but I couldn't walk away. Her mother's eyes filled with tears, but she didn't cry. She just picked up the spoon again and started stirring the pot like nothing happened. You're like your father, she said quietly. Too soft, too kind. And what did that bring him? A slow death. Amarachi stood up. Her back still ached, but her heart ached more. She walked into the room and lay on the bed. The fan above didn't work. The room smelled of old clothes and smoke. She closed her eyes, trying to rest, but her mind kept flashing back to the old woman's face. The weak eyes, the dry lips, that whisper, "You are light," in a dark place. She opened her eyes again. That night they ate rice without oil, just salt and pepper. Her brother didn't complain. Her mother didn't talk. Amarachi just ate in silence, thinking about everything. The next morning, she woke up sore and stiff. Her legs didn't want to move, but she got up anyway. Duty was duty. At the agency outpost, she stood in line like the others, waiting to collect her broom. Mr. Onu looked at her with sharp eyes. Where were you yesterday, Amarachi? I took someone to the clinic, she replied. Did you tell anyone? No, sir. You didn't come back to sign out. You didn't complete your route. You didn't do the afternoon shift. I know. I'm sorry. He crossed his arms. Sorry doesn't clean the road. We don't pay sorry here. Ngozi stepped forward. But sir, she helped someone that fainted. She. Shut up, Ngozi. Was I talking to you? Ngozi stepped back. Mr. Onu pointed at Amarachi. One more time you disappear during work, and you're gone. Do you hear me? Yes, sir. Now take your broom. Amarachi picked it up, holding it tight like it was the key to her life. She didn't argue. She didn't cry. She just walked to the road. Hours passed. The sun rose higher. Her stomach felt empty. She tried to focus on the ground, bottles, paper, sand, but her head kept drifting. Was the old woman okay? Did the clinic help her? Did they chase her out? At break time, Amarachi walked down the back road behind the agency. There was a small patch of shade there, beside an abandoned kiosk. She sat with Ngozi, sharing a sachet of pure water. You still thinking about that woman? Ngozi asked. Yes. You're too soft. This world is hard, my sister. People don't return the favor. They'll use you and forget you. I didn't do it for a reward. I know, but just be careful. You've already lost your strength, your money. Don't lose your job too. Amarachi nodded. When the day ended, she dragged her feet home again. As she walked, she passed the clinic where she had dropped the woman. She stopped. Her heart beat faster. Should she go in? She looked at the gate, then at her clothes. She was dirty. Her sandals were dusty. She didn't look like someone who belonged there. but she stepped in anyway. Inside, the place smelled like Dettol and old paint. The nurse at the front desk looked up with a frown. "Yes? Who are you looking for?" I brought an old woman here yesterday. She fainted on the road. I just wanted to check if she's okay." The nurse squinted. "Did you register her?" "No, I didn't have her details." "Then I don't know who you're talking about." "Please," Amarachi begged. She was old, weak, maybe 60 or 70. I gave her water. I brought her in myself. The nurse sighed and flipped through a file. "We had one old woman admitted yesterday. Let me check if she's still here." She walked off. Amarachi waited. Her hands shook. When the nurse returned, her face was blank. "She left." "Left? How? On her own?" "No. A black SUV came and took her this morning. No name, no ID, just said they were family." Amarachi's heart skipped. "So, she's okay?" The nurse shrugged. "Looked fine to me. Why? Was she your grandmother?" "No," Amarachi said slowly. "I don't know who she is." The nurse frowned again. "You're asking too many questions for someone who doesn't know the patient. I just wanted to make sure she's okay." "Well, she is. Now please, I have work to do." Amarachi walked out, confused. A black SUV? That didn't sound like the car of someone poor. That sounded like money. That sounded like royalty. She shook her head. No, it couldn't be. She started walking home again. But the questions didn't stop. Why didn't the woman give her name? Why did she leave so fast? And why did her voice sound so different? Like someone who had spent years talking down to people, not begging for help. Amarachi got home and found her mother and brother eating roasted yam. "Did you find firewood today?" her mother asked. Amarachi nodded. "Ngozi gave me some pieces from her compound." Her mother didn't smile. She just continued eating. As Amarachi sat beside her, Chika looked up and asked, "Did the woman wake up?" Amarachi blinked. "Which woman?" "The one you carried." She looked at him and smiled. "Yes, Chika. She woke up." "Did she say thank you?" "Yes." "Did she give you money?" Amarachi laughed softly. "No. She just said I was light." Chika frowned. "Light? What does that mean?" "I don't know," Amarachi said, "but it felt nice." Her mother looked at her then, just for a moment, then looked away again. That night, Amarachi lay in bed, staring at the ceiling. The fan still didn't work. Outside, dogs barked in the distance. A generator hummed from a neighbor's house. Her thoughts ran wild. Why would a woman like that be alone on the road? Who was she really? Was she really just a stranger? Or was she something more? The next few days passed slowly. Amarachi still cleaned the roads, but her mind was somewhere else. Each time her broom touched the ground, her eyes would wander. She kept looking around, expecting to see the old woman again. She hoped to see that same weak face, those half-closed eyes, or maybe a soft voice calling her name from a crowd. But the woman was gone, just like that. No one knew who she was. No one came back to say thank you. Not even a note. Nothing. And the more Amarachi thought about it, the more strange everything started to feel. That SUV at the clinic. The way the nurse said, "They just took her." The softness of the old woman's skin. The way she had said, "You don't know who I am." And that whisper, "You are light," in a dark place. Amarachi kept hearing it in her sleep. One morning, while sweeping by the roundabout near the post office, she saw a group of people standing by the road, staring at something. There was a long black SUV parked by the gate of the pharmacy. For a second, Amarachi's heart jumped. Could it be her? She moved closer, her hands shaking slightly. But when she looked into the car window, it was just a group of rich men in suits, laughing and talking on the phone. Not the woman, not even close. She stepped back, disappointed. "You're still looking for her, ABI?" Ngozi asked from behind, dragging her broom along the edge of the gutter. Amarachi nodded without saying a word. Ngozi came closer and looked around. "My friend, you better let it go. What if she's dead? Or just mad? Maybe the car came to carry her to a mental home. Amarachi frowned. She wasn't mad. How do you know? People talk to themselves every day. You think all of them are spirits. She wasn't talking to herself. She was sick. She was tired. She needed help. Ngozi shook her head. All I'm saying is this. Be careful with your heart. You give too much. This world is not made for soft people. Amarachi sighed and went back to sweeping, but the words stayed in her head. Was she really too soft? That same day, around noon, the cleaners were all called to the outpost. Mr. Onu stood at the front with a list in his hand and a frown on his face. Today, we are doing a reshuffle, he said. Some people will move. Some will go. The workers all looked at one another. Whispers filled the air. Amarachi stood still, her eyes on the ground. Mr. Onu started reading names from the list. Some people were told to report to other streets. Some were told to start working evening shifts. Then he called Amarachi's name. She raised her head. He looked at her straight in the eye and said, "Your name is not on the new shift list." Amarachi blinked. "Sir, you are no longer on this roster," he said coldly. "We don't have space for people who think they can take breaks whenever they want. But I've been coming to work since then. I only missed one afternoon because I helped someone. I don't care." He cut her off. "You didn't complete your shift. You didn't tell anyone. That's it." Ngozi stepped forward. "But sir, that's not fair. She only missed once." "Keep quiet," he barked. "If you want to follow her, go and follow her. We have plenty people waiting for work." Amarachi felt like the ground had opened beneath her feet. Fired? Just like that? She had never missed work before that day. She was always early, always quiet, always did her part. Tears burned behind her eyes, but she refused to let them fall. She nodded slowly, dropped the broom on the ground, and walked away. She didn't even stop to say goodbye to anyone. She just walked, out of the gate, down the road, through the market, past the women selling tomatoes, past the butchers cutting meat, past the Okada men shouting prices. All the noise faded around her. She kept walking until her feet ached. Then she sat under a mango tree by the roadside. She looked at her hands, dusty, shaking. She had no job, no money, no plan. Just one choice she made, helping a woman who didn't even say thank you. Was Ngozi right? Was her mother right? Maybe she really was too soft. She sat under the tree for a long time, staring at nothing. Then, from nowhere, her stomach growled loudly. She reached into her pocket and brought out the only thing she had, a crumpled 100 Nigerian Nairas note. She could either buy one small snack or keep it for tomorrow. But what was the point of saving for tomorrow when today was already broken? She stood up slowly and walked into a nearby kiosk. "One egg roll," she said. The woman gave her the bread, and she walked back to her spot under the tree. As she ate, she tried to think of what to do next. She couldn't go back home now. Her mother would ask questions. Her brother would be watching, and she had no answers. Suddenly, her eyes began to sting, and this time she couldn't stop it. The tears came. She wiped them quickly with the back of her hand, but they kept falling. She hated this. She hated crying. She hated feeling like she had made a mistake by being kind. A soft voice broke her thoughts. "Sister, are you okay?" She looked up and saw a young girl, maybe 7 years old, holding a baby in her arms. The girl wore a torn dress and had bare feet. Amarachi forced a smile. "I'm fine." The girl nodded and turned to leave, but Amarachi called her back. "Wait." She tore the egg roll in half and gave the girl a piece. The child's eyes lit up. "Thank you," she whispered, then ran off. Amarachi watched her go, and somehow the heaviness in her chest felt a little lighter. That evening, she returned home just before sunset. Her mother was boiling water outside. "You're back early," she said, not looking up. Amarachi stood by the door. "I lost the job." Her mother froze. "What?" "I got fired." "What did I tell you?" Her mother turned sharply. "Did I not warn you? You left your work to carry a stranger, and now you're jobless. What did you gain?" "I didn't expect to lose it," Amarachi said. "But you did." Because life doesn't care about good people, Amarachi crushes them. It spits them out. Her mother's voice rose as she dropped the spoon on the floor. We can't afford your big heart in this house. We need money, food, not stories about some old woman. Amarachi said nothing. She walked into the house and lay on the bed. Her brother followed her in. Amara? She didn't answer. Are you sad? She nodded. He sat beside her on the bed. Don't worry, maybe another job will come. Amarachi turned her face to the wall. Maybe, but in her heart, she wasn't so sure anymore. Maybe she had made a mistake. Maybe helping that woman was the worst thing she had ever done. The days after Amarachi lost her job felt like a long, dark cloud that refused to move. She woke up each morning, sat by the window, and stared at the road. She didn't go out much. She didn't sweep the streets. She didn't even touch her nursing form anymore. It stayed folded in her bag like a forgotten letter, waiting for a life she could no longer reach. Her mother spoke less to her. Her brother, Chika, tried to make her laugh, but even his funny faces couldn't pull a smile from her lips. She was not angry, just tired. Tired of trying. Tired of giving. Tired of being good in a world that didn't care. Then one morning, everything changed. Started like every other day, slow and quiet. Amarachi was outside washing her only pair of work sandals when she heard noise coming from the main road. Loud voices, car horns, people shouting. She looked up and saw something that made her drop the sandals. 3 black Jeeps, big ones, with flags on them. The kind you only saw in movies or during election times. The kind that belonged to powerful people. They were moving slowly through the narrow streets, and behind them, 2 more cars followed, filled with uniformed men. The whole neighborhood gathered, whispering and pointing. Who are they looking for? Someone asked. Maybe they came for that politician's daughter, another replied. No, I heard it's for one boy that stole generator parts. But the Jeeps didn't stop at the politician's house. They didn't stop near the market. They didn't stop at the compound where loud music always played. They stopped right in front of Amarachi's house. Everyone turned to stare. Amarachi's mouth opened, but no sound came out. Then the door of the first Jeep opened, and 2 well-dressed guards stepped out. They walked toward her slowly, wearing black suits and sunglasses. They didn't smile. They didn't blink. One of them held a brown folder. The other held a small device in his hand, like a walkie-talkie. Are you Miss Amarachi Nwoke? One of them asked. Her legs felt weak. Why, yes. You are requested at the royal palace. Immediately, people gasped. Palace? Her mother shouted from inside. She rushed out, her wrapper loosely tied and her face full of confusion. What is going on? The guard turned politely. Ma, your daughter has been summoned by Her Majesty the Queen Mother. Amarachi's eyes grew wide. The Queen? Yes. For what? We are not told, ma'am, the other guard replied. We were only asked to bring her respectfully. But we must leave now. Her mother stepped in front of her. Wait, what did she do? My daughter has never even entered the government office. Talk less of the palace. Amarachi placed her hand gently on her mother's arm. Ma, I'll go. Are you mad? Her mother asked sharply. What if it's a trap? What if they take you and you don't come back? I'll be fine, Amarachi said softly. Let me go and find out. Her brother Chika grabbed her waist. No, Amara, don't go. She bent down and kissed his forehead. It's okay. I'll come back. With shaking hands, she followed the guards and entered the black Jeep. The door shut with a soft thud. The car smelled of leather and something sweet. She sat quietly as the vehicle moved. Her eyes watched the houses go by like a dream. She had never entered a car like this before. In fact, she had never entered a car with air conditioning before. The cold air made her arms feel strange. She didn't know whether to smile or cry. The trip took 30 minutes, but it felt like 3 hours. Finally, they reached the gates of the palace. The guards at the entrance saluted and opened the tall golden gate. Amarachi had only seen this place in newspapers. It was larger than she imagined. Beautiful flowers lined the driveway. Statues of old kings and queens stood at the front. Birds flew in the fountain. Everything looked like it didn't belong in the same world she lived in. The car stopped, and the guard opened her door. "Follow me," he said. Amarachi stepped out slowly, her legs still shaking. She held her wrapper tightly and followed him into the large building. The hallway was wide. The floors were shiny. She could see her own reflection in the tiles. People in royal clothes walked by, whispering and staring at her. Some looked confused. Others looked disgusted. "Who let her in here?" she heard someone say. "Is she lost? Look at her slippers." But Amarachi kept walking. She was led into a big room with tall glass windows and golden chairs. At the center sat a woman dressed in purple and gold. Her skin was smooth. Her hair was packed neatly. Her face looked calm but powerful. She sat straight like someone who was used to being obeyed. Amarachi froze. She knew that face. It was her, the old woman from the gutter. But now she didn't look weak. She didn't look lost. She looked like a queen. The Queen Mother raised her hand, and everyone in the room stood still. "Bring her forward," she said. Amarachi was led to the center of the room. She stood there, shaking, afraid to look up. "Your name is Amarachi Nwoke?" the Queen Mother asked. "Yes, Your Majesty," Amarachi replied in a small voice. "Lift your head, child." Amarachi looked up slowly, and their eyes met. The Queen Mother gave a small smile. "You look surprised." I didn't know that I was the same woman you carried?" she asked gently. "Yes. I went out that day to test the people of this kingdom. I wore rags. I made myself look weak. I wanted to see how they would treat me." The Queen Mother stood up. "I was ignored by shopkeepers, spat on by children, called mad by mothers, passed by drivers. I sat in the gutter for hours, watching this kingdom fail its test, until one girl came." Amarachi felt the whole room turn silent. "One girl," the Queen Mother continued, "saw me, stopped, gave me her last money, carried me on her back with no help, risked her job, risked her strength, risked her life, for someone she didn't even know." The nobles shifted uncomfortably. "And that girl is standing before us today." Gasps filled the hall. The Queen Mother turned to the others. "This kingdom is full of people with fine clothes and empty hearts, people who pray but walk past the poor. But today, I give honor to a true daughter of this land." She looked at Amarachi again and smiled warmly. "You, Amarachi Nwoke, are no longer a stranger to this palace. From this day, you will be known as Daughter of the Royal Heart." Amarachi's mouth dropped open. "But, Your Majesty, I don't understand." "You don't have to," the Queen Mother said. "Just know this. When you gave me water, you poured life into this kingdom." The room burst into whispers. Some clapped, some frowned, some stayed quiet. The Queen Mother raised her hand again. Silence. She walked forward and placed her hand on Amarachi's shoulder. "Today you will dine with me, but tomorrow your journey begins." The royal dining room was the most beautiful place Amarachi had ever seen. Everything inside it sparkled like it had been cleaned with magic. The table was long, made of smooth wood that looked like it came from another land. The plates had gold on the edges. The chairs were soft and high. A small fountain in the corner sang softly as water danced in it. Amarachi sat at one end of the table, still shaking. Her wrapper looked too old for the chair. Her hands didn't know where to rest. She didn't even know if she should eat the food or just stare at it. Then the Queen Mother entered. Everyone in the room stood up. Amarachi followed quickly, almost knocking over her glass. "Sit, child," the Queen Mother said, smiling. "Today is not for fear, it's for thanks." Amarachi sat again, her heart pounding. Maids walked in with plates of jollof rice, grilled chicken, fish stew, and fried plantain. The smell alone made Amarachi feel dizzy. She hadn't eaten like this in her entire life. At home, they shared one small pot. Sometimes it was only gari and salt. But here, the table had more food than 10 people could finish. She whispered, God, is this real? The queen mother watched her closely. Eat, my daughter. Amarachi hesitated. But I don't know how to eat this kind of food. You eat with your hands or your spoon, the queen said softly. Whichever one brings you peace. Amarachi picked up her spoon, hands still shaking, and took her first bite. The taste melted in her mouth. She closed her eyes. Good? The queen mother asked. Amarachi nodded quickly. Very good. The queen smiled. Then eat until your soul rests. They ate in silence for a while, but Amarachi kept glancing at her. She couldn't believe this was the same woman who lay in the gutter just a few days ago. Your Majesty, she said carefully. Why did you do it? Why did you go out like that? The queen wiped her lips with a napkin. Because too many people hide behind their crowns and forget the truth. They sit on golden chairs but never touch the streets. And how can a queen lead her people if she does not know how they suffer? Amarachi nodded slowly. You were the only one who saw me, the queen added. Not with your eyes, but with your heart. That means you are not just good, you are rare. Amarachi looked down. I didn't do anything special. The queen reached across the table and touched her hand. That is why it was special. After the meal, Amarachi was taken to a guest room inside the palace. The bed was big and soft. The sheets smelled of flowers. A maid brought her a new wrapper, clean underwear, and soap for a hot bath. As the warm water touched her back, Amarachi closed her eyes. Maybe this was just a dream. Maybe she would wake up tomorrow and be back in her small house, hearing her mother shout and her brother cough. But it wasn't a dream. The next morning, she woke up to find a note on her table. It had the palace seal. She opened it slowly. You will be meeting the king today at the royal council. Dress well. Walk proudly. Queen Mother Nkemdalim. Amarachi's eyes widened. The king? She had never seen him before, only in newspapers and TV. People said he was young, handsome, but serious. Very serious. Some said he was too proud. Others said he just didn't like noise. A maid helped her dress in a simple but clean gown made of royal blue ankara. Her hair was packed back neatly. For the first time, she felt like she didn't look like someone from the valley slums. She was led to the council room. It was filled with nobles. Men and women dressed in fine clothes, their necks heavy with beads, their eyes full of pride. Then the king entered. He was tall, strong shoulders, skin like polished wood. His face was calm, but his eyes were sharp, like he could see straight into your soul. He didn't wear a crown, just a long, fine robe and leather sandals. Amarachi stood at the back, not sure if she should breathe. The queen mother stood and began to speak. Your Majesty, she said, and members of this court, I ask for your time today to honor a heart that deserves more than just thanks. The room fell silent. She turned toward Amarachi and waved her forward. Come, child. Amarachi walked slowly to the center. Her feet felt like blocks of stone. She could feel all the eyes on her. This is Amarachi Nwoke, the queen said. She carried me on her back when I was too weak to move. She gave me her last naira. She asked for nothing in return. A murmur moved through the room. She did what many of you would never do, the queen said firmly. So today, I give her more than praise. She turned to the king. I ask, Your Majesty, that we offer her a full royal scholarship. Let her become what she dreams to be. Let her be trained, supported, and placed in our royal foundation. The king looked at Amarachi. For a long time he said nothing. Then he nodded once. It is done. The court clapped, some half-hearted, some shocked, a few very angry. The queen turned to Amarachi. Your dream is now your duty. You will go to the Royal Health Academy, and your family will be moved to a better home. You are one of us now. Amarachi's legs almost gave way. Thank you, Your Majesty. Thank you, Queen Mother. The queen stepped forward and hugged her. You are light, she whispered again. Let no one dim it. Later that day, Amarachi was taken to see the house they gave her family. A clean two-room apartment close to the town center. A real kitchen. A small garden. tiled bathroom. Her mother stood in the middle of the sitting room, turning in circles. "Is this for us?" "Yes, Ma," Amarachi said, smiling. Her mother dropped to her knees. "God, is this you? God, is this you?" Chica ran from room to room, shouting, "We have a real toilet." Amarachi laughed, and for the first time in a long while, her chest felt light. But far away, inside the palace, another heart had also been moved. King Obiora sat alone in the royal garden that night. He remembered Amarachi's face, the way she walked into the council room, unsure but brave, the way she spoke with respect, not fear, the way she didn't show pride, even when she was praised. "She's different," he said to himself. He remembered his mother's words. "That's the kind of woman who builds a kingdom." He didn't say anything else. He just sat there, thinking, watching the moonlight dance on the palace fountain. Amarachi had never worn a uniform like this before. It wasn't like her old cleaner's shirt or the brown rags from the street. This one was sky blue with white edges, and it fit her body in a way that made her feel important. The school badge on her chest sparkled under the morning sun. She touched it gently, like it was something fragile. She stood in front of the Royal Health Academy gate, staring up at the large building. The place looked like a palace on its own. Big white walls, tall glass windows, flowers all around. Students in clean clothes walked past her, laughing, chatting, holding books. Some of them didn't even look her way. Some did, but only with small frowns or raised eyebrows. She took a deep breath and stepped in. Inside, everything smelled fresh. The floors were shiny. The chairs in the classrooms looked soft. The hallways were wide and filled with the sound of footsteps and quiet voices. She followed the instructions from the envelope she was given at the palace and found her class. A small group of students were already seated when she walked in. Most of them had fancy bags, neat hair, and phones with earpieces hanging from their collars. As she entered, they all looked at her. "Is she lost?" Someone whispered. "No, that's the cleaner girl from the Queen's story," another said. Amarachi sat at the back. She didn't talk to anyone. She just opened her book and stared at the first page, pretending to read. But her hands were cold. She felt like she didn't belong here. Later that day, during lunch break, she sat alone on a bench outside the school building. While she unwrapped the small snack packed for her by a palace maid, she overheard two girls talking just a few feet away. "She's the one that carried the queen, right?" one asked. "Yes, that's her. She doesn't even look like she belongs here. Look at her slippers. I heard she used to clean gutters. I heard her father was a drunk." They laughed. Amarachi looked down at her food. Her throat tightened. She had faced hunger. She had faced dust and pain. But this quiet mockery, it was a different kind of wound. Later that evening, she returned to the new house, quiet. Her mother was waiting at the door, smiling. "How was your first day?" she asked. Amarachi forced a smile. "It was okay. Did you learn anything?" "Not much today. They just gave us books and showed us around." "Good," her mother said. "You'll do well, I know it." But Amarachi didn't reply. She walked to her room and lay on the bed. Inside her heart, something was already building, a wall. She knew that no matter how much she smiled, she didn't fit in. These people didn't see her as a student. They saw her as the girl from the streets who got lucky. And so, she decided to stay quiet, to keep her head down, to do her work and go home. No more smiles, no more kindness, just focus. But fate had other plans. A week later, she was called back to the palace for a small event organized by the Queen Mother, a health outreach program. It was supposed to help poor communities with free checkups and medicine. Amarachi was invited because she was now a student and also someone who knew what suffering looked like. She stood quietly under the tent, helping arrange chairs, when she saw him, King Obiora. He wasn't wearing royal robes, just a simple white shirt and black trousers. But he still looked powerful. His eyes scanned the crowd as he walked through the tents, talking to nurses, greeting children. When he reached Amarachi, she bowed quickly. "Good afternoon, Your Majesty." He smiled gently. "Good afternoon, Emirachi." Her heart jumped. He remembered her name. "I see you're working hard," he said. "I'm trying, sir." "Don't try. Do." She nodded quickly. There was a short silence. "Do you like the school?" he asked. "Yes," she lied. "It's beautiful." "And your classmates?" "They're fine." He tilted his head slightly. "You don't sound happy." I'm still adjusting." He looked at her closely, but said nothing more, just gave a small nod and walked away. That night, she thought about his voice. Calm, deep, not like what she expected from a king. He didn't speak like someone above her. He spoke like someone trying to understand her. But she told herself not to think about it. He was a king. She was nobody. She was only here because she carried his mother. Nothing more. Still, the king began showing up more. Twice, he came to the school to check on the health programs. Each time, he greeted her by name. Each time, he asked how she was doing. And each time, she gave short, polite answers. But people noticed. The students noticed. The nobles noticed. And the whispers began. One day, during group work in class, a girl named Adaora dropped her pen and said loudly, "Maybe if I carry the queen too, I'll get a free house and the king's attention." The other students laughed. Emirachi said nothing. She packed her books and left the group. Another day, she overheard two teachers in the hallway. "I hear the king likes that girl." "The one from the street?" "Yes, his mother is the one pushing it." She doesn't look like a future queen to me." The words followed her everywhere like shadows. At home, she stayed quiet. Her mother didn't know about the gossip. Chica was too young to understand, and Emirachi didn't want to bother them with her pain. So she buried it. She avoided events, avoided school parties. When the king visited the academy again, she made sure to stay at the back. When he tried to talk to her, she smiled, said a few words, then left quickly. One evening, after a long class, she was walking home alone when she saw a black car following her slowly. She panicked at first. Then the car stopped beside her and a window rolled down. It was the king. "Walking alone?" he asked. "Yes, sir. I can give you a ride." "No, thank you." He looked at her. "Are you afraid of me?" "No, your majesty." "Then why do you run from me?" She looked down. "Because I don't want people to talk." "People will always talk," he said, "even when you're doing nothing." She didn't answer. "You helped my mother when no one else did," he continued. "That says a lot about who you are. And who you are is someone I'd like to know better." She swallowed hard. "Thank you, sir," she whispered. "But I think it's better we don't talk too much. I just want to focus on school." The king stared at her for a moment. Then he nodded slowly. "All right," he said, "if that's what you want." He rolled the window up, and the car drove away. Emirachi stood there for a while, her heart pounding. Did she do the right thing? Maybe. But why did her chest feel heavy? Days passed, then weeks. Emirachi did everything to stay invisible. She went to class early, left quietly, stayed out of any group that drew attention. The only place she felt safe was her corner in the library. That small desk by the window became her hiding spot. Even when the king visited the school again for another outreach, she found an excuse to stay back in class. She thought staying out of sight would stop the gossip. But it didn't. In fact, it got worse. One afternoon, during lunch, she walked past a group of students and overheard loud laughter. Adaora was at the center of the group, holding her phone up. "Look at this meme I made," Adaora said. "It's Emirachi sweeping the palace floors, then magically turning into the queen's daughter." The others laughed and clapped like she told a joke. She should just marry the king already. She has his attention. But can she even sit beside him without shaking? Emirachi didn't say anything. She kept walking, but the laughter chased her like a shadow. That evening, she got home and didn't eat dinner. Her mother noticed. "What's wrong?" she asked. "You've been quiet for weeks." Emirachi shook her head. "Nothing, Ma. You can't fool me. Is it the school? Or that king again?" "People are talking," she said softly. They say things. They mock me. Her mother walked closer and sat beside her on the small sofa. Since when did your ears start caring about their mouths? It's not that simple. Yes, it is, her mother said. You're not doing anything wrong. But even if you were, let me tell you something about people, they will always find a reason to talk. If you marry a rich man, they'll say you use charm. If you help the poor, they'll say it's a show. Emirachi looked down. But the king, he keeps showing up. I didn't ask him to. Her mother smiled. Then maybe he sees something others don't. But I'm not trying to be seen. Then stop hiding, her mother said. Because if you keep shrinking yourself to make others feel big, you'll disappear. And I didn't raise you to disappear. Emirachi didn't reply, but those words stayed with her. The next day was the Royal Annual Council. A big gathering of nobles, leaders, palace elders, and the royal family. Emirachi wasn't planning to go. She had no reason to. She was just a student. But the Queen Mother sent a letter asking her to come. So she dressed carefully in a simple but neat gown the palace had gifted her. Blue and white with soft gold trimming. Her hair was braided back, her shoes flat and clean. She didn't wear makeup, just oil on her face to keep it fresh. When she entered the hall, people stared. Some whispered, some turned their noses. She found a seat at the back and sat quietly. The meeting began. Speeches were made. Plans were discussed. But Emirachi wasn't really listening. Her eyes kept bouncing from face to face, wondering who was judging her, who was mocking her, who wanted her gone. Then, in the middle of the meeting, something happened. A noblewoman stood up, Lady Maku. She was tall, elegant, with skin like bronze and a voice that carried weight. Her family was known across the kingdom. Her daughter was one of Emirachi's classmates. Lady Maku cleared her throat. Your Majesty, she said, addressing the king. There's an issue I feel we must speak about. The hall went quiet. The king nodded. Go on. It concerns a certain girl who, recently, has been given much attention and honor. While I respect the Queen Mother's generosity, I fear that her sudden rise is causing unrest. The king raised an eyebrow. Unrest? Yes, Lady Maku said. Many believe this girl is being prepared for a place she doesn't deserve. A place beside the throne. People murmured. Heads turned. Lady Maku continued, My lord, we do not question kindness, but we must protect tradition. Royals marry royals. Bloodlines matter. Image matters. And we cannot let emotion lead the crown into confusion. Every word felt like a stone thrown at Emirachi's chest. She looked down, her fingers twisting the edge of her wrapper. The king stood up slowly. His face was calm, but his eyes were sharp. Lady Maku, he said, do you speak for yourself or for the entire noble council? Lady Maku hesitated. I speak for those who fear change done without wisdom. The king walked to the center of the hall. Let me remind you all, he said clearly, that the crown is not built on gossip. It is built on courage. And courage is not something you find only in palaces. Sometimes you find it in the mud. The hall fell silent. When my mother left this palace, the king said, you all remember that day. You thought she went to a meeting, but she went to test our people. And only one person passed. He turned slowly. Emirachi. Emirachi's head snapped up. She carried the weight of a queen on her back, he said. Gave her last coin. Asked for nothing. And when she was honored, she chose silence over show. She chose service over shine. Some nobles looked away. Others sat stiff. The king looked at Lady Maku. If she is not good enough to sit beside royalty, then what does that say about us who ignored the queen when she begged in the street? Lady Maku's mouth tightened. The king looked around the room. I would rather have one Emirachi beside me than 100 empty titles with shiny beads. The hall stayed quiet. Then the Queen Mother stood. She didn't say anything. She just smiled. A smile that said everything. A smile that said, I saw this coming. A smile that said, my vision was true. She looked at Emirachi and gave her the smallest nod. Emirachi felt her throat tighten. For the first time in weeks, She didn't feel like hiding. She didn't feel ashamed. She sat up straight, and for the first time, she let herself smile back. After the royal council meeting ended, the whispers didn't stop. But something had changed. Amarachi could feel it the moment she stepped out of the palace that day. People didn't look at her with the same mocking eyes anymore. The same students who laughed at her in school now paused when she walked past. Some nodded. Some even smiled. Teachers who once ignored her now said, "Good afternoon, Amarachi," like they meant it. Even Adaora, proud, sharp-tongued Adaora, didn't say a word in class the next day. She sat quietly, flipping through her textbook and avoiding Amarachi's eyes. But Amarachi didn't feel proud. She felt confused. Not because the king defended her, not because the queen mother smiled at her like a proud parent, but because something inside her had started to grow. A small, soft feeling, one she had been trying to hide for weeks. She sat by her window that night, hugging her knees, looking up at the stars. Her mother came in holding a small cup of hot pap. "You haven't eaten all day," her mother said, handing it to her. Amarachi took the cup but didn't drink. "Ma, if the king asks me to walk beside him, what do I say?" Her mother sat down beside her on the bed. "Do you want to say yes?" "I don't know." Her mother looked at her gently. "Let me ask you this. Do you like him?" Amarachi didn't answer immediately. Then she nodded slowly. "Yes, but I'm afraid." "Afraid of what?" "That I'm not enough. That I'll mess up. That I'll be the girl from the gutter walking beside a man born in gold." Her mother reached out and took her hand. "You weren't born in gold," she said, "but you were born in strength. You may not wear a crown, but you carry something stronger, heart. And sometimes that's what kings need most." Amarachi blinked fast, trying not to cry. Her mother smiled. "If he asks you to walk beside him, ask yourself if you're ready to walk. Not behind him, not in front of him, but beside him." The next day passed quietly. Amarachi went to school, went to the clinic for a short volunteer shift, then returned home. She didn't expect anything special to happen. But by evening, a palace guard arrived at her doorstep. He didn't say much, just bowed and handed her a letter sealed with gold wax. She opened it carefully. "You once walked a long road carrying my mother. I would be honored if you could walk a shorter one with me, this time side by side. If your heart agrees, meet me by the Queen's garden tomorrow at sunset. Obiora." Her hands shook. She showed the letter to her mother, who clutched her chest. "You, so it is happening." "Ma, what do I wear?" Amarachi asked, voice shaking. Her mother looked at her like she was still the baby she once rocked to sleep. "Wear what makes you feel like yourself." He didn't fall for a princess. He noticed a girl who carried an old woman on her back. That night, Amarachi barely slept. The next evening, she dressed in a long green gown given to her weeks ago by the palace maid. Simple but beautiful. She oiled her hair, twisted it into soft braids, and wore flat sandals. No jewelry, no makeup, just Amarachi. When she arrived at the Queen's garden, the sky was painted with orange and gold. Flowers swayed softly in the breeze. The fountain in the middle danced under the evening sun. And there he was, Obiora, not in royal robes, just a simple shirt, rolled at the sleeves and dark trousers. He turned as she entered, his eyes lighting up. "You came," he said. Amarachi nodded. "I almost didn't." "Why?" "Because I didn't want to walk into something I wasn't sure of." He smiled. "And now, I'm still not sure, but I'm here." They stood in silence for a few moments, the sound of water filling the space between them. "You've been quiet lately," he said gently. "I didn't want to cause more talk." "Let them talk," he said. "Let them scream. Let them whisper. All I care about is what you say." Amarachi looked at him. "So, why me?" He laughed softly. "Everyone asks that. Even I did. At first, it was because of what you did for my mother. But now, it's because of who you are. You don't try to impress. You don't ask for attention. You just care. And that's rare in this world." He took a step closer. "I'm not asking you to marry me now," he said. I'm asking for something smaller, but also bigger. She frowned. What do you mean? I'm asking for a walk, not as king and commoner, not as savior and saved, just two people, starting a journey. She looked at his hand as he reached it out to her. A small wind passed between them. Then she smiled. She took his hand, and they walked around the garden, past the fountain, through the soft flowers. No cameras, no crowd, just footsteps and peace. Weeks later, the palace held a small celebration for the Queen Mother's birthday. Amarachi was invited again, but this time, she didn't stand at the back. She walked in with her head high. People no longer whispered. They watched, and they wondered. Lady Maku nodded stiffly as she passed. Edaora looked away, pretending not to see her, but Amarachi saw everything, and she smiled. The Queen Mother took her hand and whispered, "This is only the beginning." As the night ended, Obiora walked her to the gate of the palace. No guards, no noise. "I have something for you," he said, reaching into his pocket. It was a gold pin, small, shaped like a heart. "What's this?" "My mother wore this before she became queen," he said. "She said she'd give it to a woman with the same kind of heart. She gave it to me, and now I want to give it to you." Amarachi held the pin like it was made of light. "Thank you," she whispered. "No," he replied, smiling. "Thank you." The next morning, Amarachi stood on the same road where it all began. The same hill, the same dust, the same sun in the sky. Only this time, she wasn't carrying anyone. She was walking tall, and at her side was Obiora. She paused at the spot where she had first seen the old woman lying in the gutter. The memory was clear, the heat, the fear, the silence. "I still remember this place," she said. "So do I," he replied. "It's where everything started." She turned to him. "I was just a girl trying to help. And now you're a woman walking beside a king." She laughed. "I don't feel like a queen." "You don't have to feel like one," he said. "You already carry what most queens don't." She looked ahead, at the long road that led to the clinic, the school, and beyond. Then she took a step forward. One step, then another. And just like that, her journey continued. Not as a cleaner, not as a girl forgotten by the world, but as Amarachi, the girl who gave all she had and walked her way into destiny.